Hey guys, welcome to this week's version of Teddy's Teaching Tuesday, and today we're going to be talking about what's the difference between elite level athletes and everybody else. So obviously we understand that a lot of these athletes have very blessed or gifted with genetic abilities that most people do not have. But through my experience in the strength conditioning level over the past 10 years, I've come across some elite level athletes. And I noticed there's some key differences in them between everybody else aside from their genetics. So I want to take the time in this video to explain those differences and how we can incorporate them within our everyday lives to not only find more success towards our goals, but generally probably live a lot happier than we normally do. So let's get to it. So the first thing I noticed working with different athletes. So in my past, I was a high school strength conditioning coach for 8 years. And in that time, I got to work with a lot of athletes that went on to Big Ten schools, ACC, and then a few of them have actually made it to the NFL. I also, through another job, I did online coaching and got to work with another NFL guy, someone that competed at the the Olympic trials for the United States, and also a handful of special forces within the U.S. Army and Air Force. So some of the things I noticed that was a commonality between all of them was that they had a realistic mindset with optimism blended into it. So what I mean by that is when they set goals for themselves and what they expected out of other people, it was very realistic, but it was with a twist of optimism put on top of that. So to give you an example, whenever they were setting goals for themselves, they took into account their weaknesses and strengths. Now, they didn't neglect any of those. They were very real with themselves, as in they were really poor at maybe, let's say, the playbook side of things, but they were really good at the physical side of things. So they set a realistic goal of themselves, like, okay, I'm going to continue to get a little bit better at my physical capacity, but I'm going to work even harder towards the playbook because that's what I have the most trouble with. So again, a very optimistic approach to kind of show, hey, I do have these strengths, but I'm going to work on these weak points within my ability as a player within my given sport. Now, the second thing I think was a commonality amongst all of them is that they developed daily habits that help them succeed. So when I say daily habits, it's not that they went in every day to practice or class or anything like that and were perfect at it. It's they developed different mentality mindsets that a lot of us do not put into our everyday living. So one of them being consistency. So let's say you're supposed to be in the weight room just 2 times a week. No matter how they were feeling, they were in the weight room 2 times a week and gave the best they have for that day. So unfortunately, a lot of us in society is that we're kind of coached or egged on to be, well, whenever we're going to do this, we're going to give our absolute best and be perfect at it. That's not necessarily the case. I've seen a lot of these high-level athletes come in and just be consistent. Even though they didn't give the best performance they ever had, they gave the best performance they could within that given day. So if you think about it, if you just go in and give 1% every single day, just get 1% better every single day, you're 365% better all around. Now, if you're just doing 2 times a week when you're talking about lifting, 52 weeks out of the year, that's still over 100% better. So the idea is not to be nailing it out of the park every time you need to do something as far as weightlifting or dieting or anything within your daily living. It's just a matter of getting that 1% better and letting it add over time. And then the third thing I think a lot of them did that we all should do better at as individuals is develop a support system for yourself. So what I mean by that is, so yes, they are locked into what they need to do, but they also are supportive of other people and just trying to be genuine people all together. So that way, people were more likely to support them. So I'll give you an example within, this was even at Ohio State when I was interning for them, is that you had some athletes that would go over to other sports and support them during their games. Now you may be thinking, well, that's going to hurt with their recovery and whatnot, and sometimes it might. But if you have the ability to just give a little bit every now and then, you'll receive 5 or 10-fold of that, what you gave. Because what ended up happening is it created a culture in which the athletes would go to each other's competitions and really support them. And it may not seem like much, but it does kind of help with that intensity in the moment and also just feeling encouraged overall. Now, for us as everyday people, what I think we could do is we support each other, or even just simply listen to how someone's day is going, or ask them how things are at work, to just kind of go over, what is that person experiencing, and what can you do to kind of help them, make them feel like they're supported, and how they can actually better their lives. So it may not seem like much, but just a little bit of that over and over and over again, people are going to buy into you, even though it sounds selfish, but people are going to buy into you and try to help you out. So that's how I think elite athletes have done things within their own daily living that most people don't do. So I hope you guys found this useful, and I'll see you guys next Tuesday.